AJ,
Yeah.
I'm actually going to use this pod to put up something on the deck to explain why Zoom is actually cancerous. Can you just run
Okay.
me through?
You know, I've realized that if I want to explain Zoom, I don't even need to show it. Just the way I say it, the passion that I have gotten after implementing Zoom 3 times at the minimum, and each time being more than 1400 lines of code, should be enough. So,
AJ loves to lose his code.
AJ hates Apple. I've hated Apple before I started this, and I hate Apple even more. Right? So let's start with why is Zoom so cancerous? So that in Apple there's something called a collection view. A collection view is, guess what? A list of images. You display the list of images and it's all good. But when is collection view not good? The collection view is not good when you have to change the set of images. It tries to reload the entire data set. And not only does it have to reload the entire data set, it calculates the entire layout. It goes through all the images at the top, and then it has to figure out which image should be at this location on the screen. So at the top, my zoom is perfect. It just works. But the lower you go, you'll see a little bit more bugs.
So you're telling me if I zoom in the top of the gallery, it fine.
Works.
And if I scroll down, it doesn't work?
Do you want to see it work?
Yeah, let me show me.
Let's make it work. So, whenever I need to test, I have all the numbers memorized for every single zoom level. So, the one that works at the top is everrule minus 30, because that's just how many changes I've had to make to rewrite and rewrite and rewrite.
Let's share them.
I have to do some simple git things, and the simple thing is Zoom kind of works, and it does kind of work, you know.
Or it's literally written as Zoom kind of works.
Yes, that's the commit. Truly a beautiful commit. And let's test this. Let's test this version very quick. Just the way Apple apps
You know, this
work.
is so funny. This is Leon Zhao because
Yes.
apparently Apple doesn't want us to create developer accounts in India. We tried 3 times. We paid hundreds of dollars 3 times, and they just refused to do it. And this guy over here working at Citadel Sec seems to be the only person who can help us even ship an app to the App Store. But no, AJ shall explain.
We
Zoom to
basically
us.
just stole my friend's Apple ID. We have access to all of his images now.
Yes, that's the Dabble way to do things. Cool. Let's show Zoom to them.
Yeah, and now let's run it. You see how much time it takes to just run a simple app? It's a little bit annoying. And now we have to wait 20 seconds. Do you know why? Because all the images have to use the hierarchical clustering algorithm for us to figure out where each image should be displayed and what images should be displayed at each zoom level. But of course, in the newer versions of the app, we have optimized this a lot, and it doesn't take anywhere close to this much.
It takes about what, 5 seconds? Less than that even?
It's 5 seconds single threaded, and now we're going to make it multi-threaded. We're hoping for it to be like less than a second.
How do we
And
make
that's
it
for
multi-threaded?
30 seconds. That's for 30,000 images.
Oh wow, okay. 30,000 images on the map altogether.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really fast. I'm thinking it could be less than 1 second for even 100,000 images.
How are we gonna do that?
We are going to implement very, very aggressive cluster pruning to figure out which images are likely to be merged together. And we're going to use aggressive multi-threading, having 4 threads, and each thread is looking at the neighbors of every single element in the map. So we've gotten the images, and now let's try zooming in. You can see them, the images transition instantly. It's as instant as possible. The transitions are easy to implement, the transition between one image to the next. Those are just simple UI view things. We just wanted it to work, right? But let's just go down. And then you will see,
By the way, there's zero lag in downloading all of these at once.
look at this. Every single time the images change, it has to relay out the entire column. And this is what it looks like when it has to relay out the column. It doesn't happen in one frame. It has 8 milliseconds to relay out almost thousands of images. And it just can't do it.
Scroll back up. Would it work now?
Yeah, it'll still work when you go up.
Oh wow.
And it just,
Haven't we already optimized this though? Haven't we beaten the 8 milliseconds mark?
sadly, we haven't really beaten the 8 milliseconds mark. I've implemented many different types of caches in C. And I've implemented very aggressive multi-threading for hydrating all the cells at once. and I've gotten the cache to be a single cache for all the columns. So anytime you want an image, it's almost always stored on the cache, but the layout is just not fast enough.
Why doesn't Apple give us this layout information?
Because Apple just doesn't. Apple's collection view is too general. It's just not made for this kind of aggressive layout every frame that needs to happen when you're changing the size of the image.
And tell me, what are our requirements?
Our requirement is that the column should be able to change size dynamically, and the column view should be very. It should easily find out what images need to be displayed, even when all the images are re-indexed. Because when you're zooming, I don't think many people notice this. Even I hadn't. But when you're zooming in, when the number of columns change, the images shown in each column also change.
You know, I don't think people are paying any attention to Zoom
Yes.
at all. Can we show Zoom to them on Snapchat and Google Photos on your laptop?
Yes, we can. And people don't realize just how difficult Zoom can be. So, I have.
It's one of the hidden things because we just don't have access to what Apple has. So AJ's had to
Yes.
build hit tests to figure out how Apple works on the back end to even get a sense of how the cells are displayed.
Okay, so this is Apple Zoom.
Which is
Apple
pretty good.
Zoom is effectively the gold standard.
Right? And Snapchat doesn't even have Zoom. Can you believe it? Snapchat, with hundreds of thousands of images, does not have any form of Zoom. This is their viewing experience. And then we can probably move to Google Photos. Google Photos, this is how stiff their Zoom is.
I would rather they not have Zoom at this point.
Honestly, I mean, people don't use Zoom, so you can see what they're doing, right? They don't even have Zoom.
At the maximum is 4 columns. Because at 4 columns, you still need to make very few views and collection views fast enough. But for 25 columns, which has like 200 images on the screen at once, collection view is just not gonna make it.
Bang on. And even when you look at these guys carefully, something like Google, when you're scrolling all the way down, it takes forever for them to even load the images. And this is Google collecting all the photos from your gallery from the file system. Look at this. Half of the images are white down. When you look at how we get it on Dabble, it's almost instant. So we've put in a lot of work to making this very legitimate. It's just that Apple has actually made this job very cancerous for us. But I guess that's it for this pod.
Yes.
We'll see the next pod where we're describing another one of the issues that we're dealing with. Up next will be what? Facial recognition?
Hopefully.
Facial rec. We've, by the way, invented all of gesture protocols, sheet protocols. At this point, I don't even know if we're building on iOS because it's better to call it Dabble OS.
Of course.
But this will be the first pod. More to come.